needs to check it out again for fun time. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to start talking about the form of PSAs, of public service announcements, so that when we make ours starting next week, we have a good idea of kind of what things we need and kind of have that form in our head so that we can start building our own and having it be successful. So let's pull up this. Here we go. And there we go. Boop, and throw. There it is. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of write some things down on the board, and I'll share this document with you when it's time to start building the assignment. So public service announcements, like I talked about when we were doing the journal, right? They're ads that are for a kind of a societal good, right? For the benefit of everybody. Like, don't litter, right? Wear your seatbelt. Don't drink and drive. Stuff like that. And so right away, they don't have kind of the flash that product commercials have, right? Product commercials, you see the car, you see the PS5, and it's like, I'm interested in that thing. Whereas PSAs, you kind of have to create that interest because, again, people are not going to be like, oh boy, domestic violence, oh boy, texting and driving, super cool, I better watch this, right? You have to make it cool. And when we're doing our PSAs, we're kind of still going to be thinking about the old method of television time, where when you would buy ad space, you would buy ad space on television in 30-second increments, right? Because commercial breaks between shows are typically between 90 seconds, 2.5 minutes. So those are broken up into 30-second increments. So whenever I made commercials for the Warriors, I had to make them in 30-second spots so that they could run in between, timeouts or quarter breaks or whatever and slot in. And so when you're making a PSA, we're basically going to imagine that, the Red Ribbon group, the anti-drug use group, Red Ribbon Society or whatever, or Keep America Beautiful, the litter, the anti-trash, they're going to hire you to make a PSA for them for television. And so they have purchased 60 seconds of airtime. So our PSAs must be exactly 60 seconds in length. So when you are doing television stuff, right, it's got to be like on the button, like not like 60.5 seconds, not like 59.5 seconds, definitely not 64 or 53, right? It's got to be exactly 60 because you're paying that money to the station, to the cable provider, whoever it is, right? You bought 60 seconds. If you turn in a 64-second commercial, they're just going to cut off the last 4 seconds and it's not going to see the light of day. Or if you turn in a 56-second commercial, then it's just going to be followed by 4 seconds of dead air, and you're still paying for that dead air. So you're not really getting everything that you're paying for. So you got to hit that 60 seconds right on the button. I will be on Friday kind of showing you guys some tips and tricks in Premiere and in Rush to ensure that you can hit that 60-second mark perfectly and maximize your score, and as well as maximize your knowledge of how to do things. So we're kind of going to make believe that a organization is hiring you to make a 60-second spot on television. The next thing that PSAs need to have is a hook or a twist, right? Because it's got to kind of grab your attention somehow. If the Natalie Portman PSA was just like she comes home and her boyfriend beats her up, and then it says like, donate, that's going to go in one ear and out the other of pretty much everyone who watched it, right? If it's texting and driving and the kid's texting and then they crash and they're like, kids die from texting and driving, stop. Like no one's going to pay attention to that. You have to do something different. You're going to have to either do some new technique or some wrinkle in the story or something, some new way of looking at things that is going to get your audience to lock in. You can't just come at it straight. It's just not going to work for a PSA. And all the PSAs I'm going to show you today either are going to have a hook or a twist. For instance, let's see here. Don't want to do this one first. I should have the list of them somewhere. All right. Excuse me. Sorry for being slow. All right, it's going to be here. All right, so this PSA is a PSA from England as well. Maybe England just has the best PSAs. I don't know. And you'll see that this PSA kind of has a really interesting hook. You'll hear it right away. It's kind of like this scary, ominous music with these shots of these kids, which is kind of like not really together. So you kind of get a little bit interested. What's going on here? Let's take a look at this PSA from England and check it out. All right, so this PSA, exactly 60 seconds long, kind of has a creepy hook, right? Right away at the 10-second mark is when they hit you with the creepy bunny rabbit. Boom, with the loud strike music. And from then on, you're kind of like, what is going on here? And that, right, is hopefully going to be able to lock people in, because it's not just like actual drunk people like yelling at their kids or treating their kids poorly, right? It's got a different spin on it. It's doing something different. This kid is like one of the best kid actors I've ever seen. Like his like kind of confusion mixed with like being afraid. Like I feel, man, this poor little guy, I feel so bad for him. Like, but that's like the best 3-year-old actor I've ever seen in my life. So it's got a good hook that catches you right away. Here at the back end, we see very similar to the back end of the Women's Aid PSA we watched in the journal, right? It's got a call to action, speak out, right? Speak is a verb. It's asking you to do something. They're saying you can go to Fragile Childhood on Facebook. So it's not a website, but it's a Facebook page, close enough. And then they've got the logo of the group who paid to have the PSA made, right? These are all the things that you'll see in all the PSAs we watched today. All right, let's do another one. This PSA is one of my favorites. And it's from Australia. And yeah, let's do it.
Books and whiteboards are no fun. Grab your friends and head out to the sun. We're free and we're young. We're gonna go to another place. No repercussions for our mistakes. Rules are there for us to play. We're gonna slip through a crack in the wall, fly the coop and the urban sprawl, end up down by the seaside. Love is a sunset in the ocean. This kind of ship looks heaps good in slow motion. Love.
Awesome. Uh, it's like the hardest twist I'd ever seen in my life. When I first saw this, I was like, yeah, Caleb's reaction exactly. Just what? Um, it's just, it's such, they set you up so hard, right? It's just like the most beautiful day you've ever seen, right? Skipping school, right? They sneak out of the window of school. Yeah, we're out of here. We're going to the beach. And just everything is like lens flares and gold, just like the brightest, lens flariest, sunniest day ever. And like the song's lyrics are like no repercussions for our mistakes, and the rules are there for us to break, and they're really setting you up pretty hard. And then once the first, yep, skipping school equals death. See, Caden, you get it, you get it. Um, and then it's like the colors just totally shift, and it's like the golden look is just gone, right? Once the terror starts, everything kind of shifts red, right? You see they've shifted the sun to red and their color timing, like just dark, right? Now it's like the sun is way lower and it's just kind of dark and gray. This shot, like color is kind of sucked out of it. It's a much less vibrant image. Um, and then, right, here's the fence that they snuck through at the beginning. You can see the little hole down there, and that's the hole that they snuck through. This is what happens when you slack off. And so then we have our back end, right? Stay, that's an action verb, a call to action, stay. And then it's brought to you by the Learn for Life Foundation, and their website is learnforlifewa.org.au. Down there in Australia. And yeah, that is a big time twist, an unreal twist. I just remember the first time I saw it, and it's still every time I see it, I'm like, that is a good PSA. It definitely, I think it had a lot of like, and like they say, there's no such thing as bad press, and then it was like, oh, is this PSA too violent, and blah blah blah, all that kind of good stuff happens. Let's see here. Let's do these. So we've talked a little bit this year about Darren Aronofsky, the director. We watched a clip of his with Requiem for a Dream and Pi. Those are both his movies. And then I think I showed you guys when we were like learning camera framing, we looked at like shots from Black Swan, which is another one of his movies. He actually got hired to make a series of PSAs for the Meth Project, which is the group that's trying to like curb meth usage. So he made like, I think it was like 8 or 9 PSAs, and they all have kind of the same structure. And so the structure is kind of the hook. Each of the PSAs is what's called a oneer. It's a single shot with no edits. They all start in a tight close-up like this. They all start in slow motion. They all start very bright. They all start with the voiceover line, "If I had asked," and because that's kind of the tagline of the group. And so let's take a look. I have 2 of them here, and you'll see how they're similar. This one's, I think, is the best one.
If I had asked, what does meth do to your brain? Does meth make you hear voices? Or if I asked, can't you just stop doing meth? My mom wouldn't be asking.
Oh God, what did you do? Oh, baby, hold on, please. Honey! No! Oh, no, please, honey, no!
And so let's do the next one as well, and that way you can see how they're similar. And then I want to go back and talk about this one because I think this one's really cool. But here's another one. You'll see how similar they are.
If I had asked, will I lose control on meth? Can meth really make you violent? Or if I had asked, will meth make me steal from my own family? I wouldn't be asking my brother.
Where's your money? Where is it? Give it to me! Give it!
So each of these spots is 30 seconds long on the button, right? Because they're for television. I want to look at this one here. I think this one has really got a lot going on, even though it doesn't look like it at first glance. Let's see here. So it starts out with the really bright exposure.
I had asked.
And then as the exposure drops, you can see like kind of the lesions on her skin kind of come into view, right? Because meth makes your skin basically just like fall apart. And so that's kind of wild. Then if you think about it, right, we're kind of like straight ahead of her here, which is where the mirror and the vanity would be. And so then the camera operator like tilt down and then arc left. And so now that we've arced left and are kind of over her shoulder, you can see where the mirror is, but that's where the camera just was. So my guess here is that this is a set, most likely, and that this wall with the mirror is what's called a wild wall. It's wild because it can move or swing. And so I'm betting that as the camera operator is here and tilts down, a grip or a crew member is placing that wall into place, right? It's open right now and the camera operator's here. And then as the camera operator moves, they close the wall to take up the space where he was or he or she was. And then as the scene progresses, tilt down again. Now the grip is opening that wild wall again so that the camera operator can slide back into place. But not only that, but they're doing something else too. You see the edge of the mirror here, this kind of wooden frame. I think they have a secondary grip right here, moving a frame with a pane of glass in front of the camera. You can see the pane of glass, the edge of the mirror kind of slide through the frame, right? So it's like now we're back in the mirror kind of, because the girl, when she's struggling with mom, she at the end, she's boom, and you see her hand is flat against the glass with the razor blade. And so they brought in a pane of glass. I thought like, well, maybe they're just going behind. It's like one of those like two-way mirrors. But the problem is that two-way mirrors are they are darker and they cut light down when you go behind them, and so it would get darker if you were trying to use a two-way mirror. So I think the simplest answer is usually right, that it's probably just a plain piece of glass in a frame that a grip is bringing in, maybe on a ladder and kind of hovering over or whatever. So this one has a lot going on in it. Then if we look at the final page, I think out of all the videos we watched, this has the best final page. So what do you know about meth? And also I like that it's on a gray kind of textury background. It's not just floating on black. Floating on black, text floating on black can look cool, but it often just looks lazy if you don't really have really strong graphic design skills. And so I think that putting in a texture background or just a gradient background can really make things look a lot more professional. Then if we play it, you'll see and you'll hear that the Ask logo shows up with a sound effect right there, that click. I think it's the click of a lighter. And if you look at the Ask, it kind of comes in, kind of bleeds in a little bit. And then methproject.org comes in and kind of like a burning sound effect. Same thing, it kind of bleeds in. It's not just a standard cross dissolve, it's kind of got something else on it. The font is kind of scratchy. So here's our call to action, which is ask, which is kind of the whole tagline of thing. If I had asked, then my mom wouldn't be asking, or if I had asked, then I wouldn't be asking my brother. And the website to go to, and then here's the logos of the agencies who paid to have it made. So it's, again, following that kind of form and structure throughout the entire thing. Let's show you guys some ones that some Deer Valley kids made. Actually, before we do that, let's do this. Let's go back to our notes. So PSAs must have a hook or twist. PSAs must end with a call to action, right? Like ask, call, donate, visit, whatever it is. PSAs must have a website or phone number. Probably a website nowadays, right? Phone numbers are kind of done. And last but not least, PSAs must have logos of the supporting agency, right? What agency hired you to make the PSA? Well, they want their logo in there. As you'll see here, these are some PSAs that DVTV has made over the years for various groups. This PSA is from 2015, and these guys won $15,000. They won 15 grand for this PSA from Toyota and from the Discovery Channel. It was the group that put it on. It's a 90-second spot, 90 seconds on the dot. That was the requirements of the group, and then also you had to have the logo, the Toyota logo, and the Discovery Channel logo at the end of the video as well. So let's take a look.
And so I'm talking to her, and I tell her, that's not spaghetti. Oh, my God.
I think I heard that one.
Oh, my God. Hey, that was a good time, though. You guys want to do something tonight? We can slide to Vanessa's party.
Yeah, dude, let's go.
Yeah, I can hit her up right now if you want.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, hold on. Just give me a second.
Hey, don't text and drive, man. You should watch the road.
Oh, no, it's good. I'll just, it'll be quick. It's fine. It's no big deal.
All right.
Jordan, watch out for the car. Jordan, watch out!
Does this look like fun to you? Motor crashes are the #1 cause of death upon teens in the United States. In fact, you're 3 times more likely to crash if you're texting while driving, and the average text takes your eyes off the road for about 5 seconds. But in a situation like this, you're not thinking about stupid things like statistics. You're thinking about, what would have happened if that car didn't blow up on impact? Or, what if my friends didn't die in that car today? But maybe a more serious and logical question that we should be asking is, why was I texting and driving in the first place? Don't become another statistic. Put the phone down and drive.
All right. So really good stuff here. I would say that the hook here is that they're able to kind of the camera and things are able to work while time is paused, right? Obviously Jordan is really good. He's probably graduating San Diego State Film School by now. He was really good with After Effects and special effects even in high school. You can see he's got 3D modeled liquid there. And then here, 3D modeled glass, 3D modeled explosion, 3D modeled brake and phone, right? It tracks with the truck of the camera. This is just a simple pop cut, just with more steps in it, right? Just with some flashing, but it's just a pop cut of him being there and him not being there. And same thing, that's not even really a pop cut because he's on green screen here, so it's not, that's just cheating. Right, he's got his statistics. And I said, you know, maybe get into the crash a little earlier because it's about, I guess the crash kind of happens at about the 30-second mark. Also, you can see what they're doing here. Oops, don't get big. What they're doing here is they're probably, they started with the cars near each other and then put both cars in reverse, and then the cars pull away from one another. And then when you run that footage backwards, it looks like the cars come to each other. So that's kind of a safe way. Same thing here. You could shoot this shot backwards where the cars are close to each other, get in reverse, back away from each other, and then when you reverse the footage, it looks like they are coming together. This, darn it, every time I do that. This shot here, if we go frame by frame here, right here, you can see this isn't even real, right? This is just photoshopped out. They've just cut this car out and they're animating it in. And then you can see kind of how the same thing with the Toyota, they kind of cut it out and just kind of shift it over a frame. They kind of break the hood a little bit. It's really only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames. So you're talking 1/6 of a second. And when things are moving very quickly for 1/6 of a second, even though here it looks kind of hokey and cheap, like the wheel doesn't even move of the other car, at real time, it looks convincing, right? And then the freeze frame, everything. So at the back end, they've got their logo, right? Learn is the call to action, the website teendrive365inschool.com, and the logos of the people who are funding the contest. So got to have all those pieces in your videos. Here's another one from DVTV. This one didn't win quite as much money. This one won like $500, I think. They came in third. It's all right. It's pretty good. It's got a great a hook that could be really, really great though.
No one wears their emotions on their sleeve. Know the signs. Go to www.suicideispreventable.org and take the time to learn what to do now so you're ready to be there for a friend or loved one when it matters most.
All right, so this one here, the hook is that, right, no one wears their emotion on their sleeves, except in this video, people actually are wearing their emotions on their sleeve. Sad, depressed, happy, right? This girl doesn't. These girls do, right? Giving up, sad. And then you hit him with the tagline at the end, right? People don't actually wear their emotions on their sleeves. So that's a good hook. What I told him is, you know, you've got these kind of beauty shots of Deer Valley in the front for about 30 seconds. And that isn't kind of anything about your video. I think if you cut this, get rid of all this stuff and jump right to the note cards on people's sleeves, because this is all, it's nothing. This, they don't have any postcards. They don't have any postcards. She didn't have postcard. First postcard doesn't really show up until the 30-second mark, or 25-second mark, we'll call it. And then the other thing I said is, how come everyone's like super sad? There's only one happy postcard. How comes people's emotions can't just be like tired or like want to play a video game? Everyone has to be miserable and depressed. I was like, guys, like pump brakes a little bit. But it's a great hook, right? If you saw that right in the beginning, if you saw people walking around with these note cards, you'd be like, what's going on here? I want to figure out what this is all about. And then to hit it with the great line of not everyone wears their emotions on their sleeve. The one thing that I told them they really messed up on is, let's see.
No one wears their emotions on their sleeve. Know the signs. Go to www.suicideispreventable.
So it's www. But if you listen to the voiceover,
www.suicide.
she only says 2 W's, which I was like, okay. So if you're going to do a voiceover on the end of your PSA, don't even say the W's. Just say suicideispreventable.org. That would probably work a lot better. Know the signs is the call to action here. I would probably go with like one page that just said know the signs, and then lose that, and then come up with suicideispreventable.org. The Cal MHSA and Mental Health Services Act 63, those are the logos. I think the Each Mind Matters movement, but those are the three that really count, and I think they just wanted to cram the know the signs one in there. But that's the call to action, is know the signs, right? Know what to look for. If your friends start acting in this way, then they might be going through a tough time, and you can be more of a help to them.
Suicideispreventable.org and take the time to learn what to do now so you're ready to be there.
You could maybe lose the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. It may have had to be in there for the rules of the contest. I don't exactly recall. But it's a pretty good. I also like, what I do like is that they've got this kind of gray gradient. It's not just floating on black, right? It's kind of gray at the bottom and fades to black. Just those little tiny touches that only take you, 10 seconds make a big difference in the grand scheme of things, in the way that your final page looks. And let's see here. Let's do one more from Deer Valley. This is a really short 30-second hitter.
80% of chronically absent kindergartners cannot read proficiently by the 3rd grade. It takes 3 academic days to make up 1 day of missed school. Being chronically illiterate in elementary school creates a habit that follows you throughout the rest of your life.
Your child's attendance matters.
All right, so this one's 30 seconds on the button because the district bought ad time at the movie theater for before the movies air, and right, those are in 30-second increments, and so we had to make this 30 seconds on the button. You see our final page here. It kind of has this gold and black gradient going on, so that it isn't just floating on black. We've got the logo of the agency who paid for the spot, the AUSD. Attendance matters isn't really the greatest call to action, right? You would need something like take your kid to school, stop being such a slacker or something like that, or you're going to get blown up on a beach one day. I don't know. The hook right away, though, right? The hook, you kind of almost have two. The fact that they have the little kids reading the statistics is really nice. I always like that. And then right here is shot number 2. This girl gone, right? And it's kind of this idea that the kids are missing from school, right? And then his book falls because he's not holding it up, or they're playing ball and then he's gone, right? So they've got the 3 instances of the pop cuts. So the people are the kids are disappearing, like they're absent from school. So I think it's got a nice hook that grabs people pretty instantly. Happens pretty early in the video. They've got the statistics, and it was pretty successful. Everyone really liked it, and they were, we got paid. That's the key, right? Getting paid. That's what it's all about. It makes the world go round. So, you can see the form that they all hold. Some of the things that are kind of not super duper required, like final, I call them final title cards, right? Kind of the end with the logos and everything. May have a voiceover or be silent, right? And then PSAs may include statistics. You don't necessarily have to have statistics, right? The stay in school one doesn't say like, 50,000 kids drop out or anything like that, right? It's just like stay in school or get blown up. The fragile childhood, the ones about kids and parents drinking, right? It's like it doesn't say like this many kids are affected. The women's aid one does say 2 women die every month. The texting and driving talked about how that motor crashes are the way that most teenagers die, right? The attendance matters, right? Has a lot of statistics. The suicide one doesn't have any statistics. So it kind of, if you feel that it's going to help your case, you put them in, and if you don't think it's going to help your case, you leave them out. Let's see here. Let's do one more. I think this is it. No, that's not it. I don't want that one. I want, come here, you. All right, we'll search for it. It's, there we go. And it's this one. So this is a really, really old PSA from 1971. It's kind of one of the original PSAs. And it's kind of become a meme, and it's become copied, and it's survived for 50 years, because of iconic images. So let's take a look at the Keep America Beautiful PSA.
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country. And some people don't. People start pollution. People can stop it. Write for Pollution Booklet, Box 1771, Radio City Station, New York.
All right, so 1 minute on the button. You've probably all seen the single tear crying Indian. It's kind of a meme. It's been done to death a million times now, but this is where it's from. It's from a PSA about people littering. Apparently, like, I'm what, 20 years older than you guys now. And I never really noticed it because I was kind of a kid in like the 80s and 90s. But like in the 70s and 60s, I guess I mean, I guess it's still kind of bad, but like seriously, like this would be like the pollution was just like kind of out of hand. Like I think it's something like the Erie River or something like caught on fire in Cleveland just because people would just dump oil right into the river or whatever. And so here your hook is you've got this like kind of beautiful idyllic scene of this Indian guy rowing in this beautiful stream, and oh, what a pretty shot. And then it's like, oh, there's some garbage in the water. That's kind of rough. Oh, this is not the most idyllic setting I've ever seen. This shot's pretty money. The half dissolve of his silhouette and the factories is pretty great. So it's kind of the contrast between the two images that they're really hitting. Then there's like all this garbage on the shore where he pulls up, and then you get to the money shot here when these dudes throw the garbage. Like, here you go, Indian, have some fries, and single tear kicks in. Even in the 70s, they're still following the same form, right? They're going to have a call to action right here.
Write for pollution booklet.
Right? They're asking you to write because there's no websites in 1971. So the only way to get information is you would write a letter to P.O. Box 1771 at Radio City Station, and they would mail you the pamphlet on 71 things you can do to stop pollution because it's 1971. So that's why it's 71 things. But then here, look, Keep America Beautiful. They're still around. Here's their logo. They paid for it, right? They want their, they want their recognition and all that stuff on their minute spot. So pretty easy peasy there. So we're going to be basically imagining that a group is going to hire us to make a PSA for them. I have a big list of PSA topics and groups, right? Don't text and drive, drunk driving, teen workers, suicide prevention, stop bullying, high school dropouts, anti-trash, drug-free youth, cyberbullying, childhood obesity, hungry kids, steroids, distracted walking, chemical plants, population control. And then if you can think of something else next class and do some research and present to me a group, then you can, if you find some other thing that you want to do, you can do that too. But basically, you're going to imagine that one of these groups or another group that you can find is hiring you, right? The Keep America Beautiful group has hired me to make a PSA about picking up trash, right? And so I've got 60 seconds to make an effective PSA, and that's basically going to be our next assignment. Is going to be to create a PSA for a group. So we'll go over a little bit more about the kind of some of the tricks and tips that we can come up with next class on Friday. I also need to show you guys about color correction, which is the thing that we missed the day that I was having technical difficulties. So I need to show you guys about color correction before we do our PSAs. But this is what we're going to be working on probably for February, is creating a PSA. And so the last thing that I have for you today is our exit ticket. And let me pull up our flip grid here. Period 6, that's you guys. I need to duplicate the topic from these guys to you. All right, and actually I can, there we go. This way I can share it with you. And basically what I'm asking you in the flip grid of the video of yourself is to tell me which PSA you liked the best, ticket, that's how you spell ticket, of all the PSAs that we watched. Which one did you like the best or think was the most effective? Did you think it was the Women's Aid with Keira Knightley? Did you think it was the Learn for Life Australian Kids? Do you think it was the Creepy Monsters from Fragile Childhood, the Crying Indian, Jordan's Texting and Driving, Carissa's Emotions on the Sleeve, the Meth Ads, or Anne's Attendance Matters PSA? Please tell me which one you liked best and why. And once you have that flip grid in, you are clear. And like I said, double check all your grades. Make sure they're where you want them to be because they're getting locked in tonight. And then I will see you guys on Friday, and we'll talk more about our PSA project that we're going to be working on coming up. If you have any questions, let me know.